Nice thing about Bitcoin is accessible, it's fast, and you don't have to go through any complicated banking system, where you have to try to buy stocks or bonds or try to understand something from an intermediary. You can buy it, you can own it, you're completely in control of it. And what's nice about it is that the way it's built is that it should, on a long time scale, be accruing value on average year over year. My name is Toufic Adlouni. I'm a lawyer and managing partner of Renno Co, which is a law firm that works in digital assets.
A law firm that works in digital assets. Please explain that.
So one of the things that I saw when I was a young lawyer just starting off was that no one was a Bitcoin native, no one was a crypto native lawyer. They were all securities lawyers or IP lawyers or whatever, but none of them actually came as crypto guys who just so happened to be lawyers. It was lawyers who just, crypto opportunities fell in their lap.
Now, Bitcoin is decentralized. Nobody runs it. So why are lawyers needed?
Well, lawyers are needed for a variety of reasons around the ecosystem, I would say. I think one main reason is that you have KYC, AML compliance issues. Each jurisdiction has its own regime, but it's all part of the FATF regime, at least for its member states. You also have sometimes what I would say money service business and money transmitter business issues. That's around the movement of funds and the exchanging of certain funds and currencies. You have in some instances securities and derivative law issues around the way in which Bitcoin interacts, whether you have derivative contacts on BTC, or in the Canadian case, when you're doing exchanges in BTC with custody in place, which most crypto trading platforms do. So then you have a securities law framework on the trading and custody of BTC. You have intellectual property issues as well. That comes when people are building things on top of the blockchain, Bitcoin blockchain, whether it be building custody infrastructure or building kind of payment rail infrastructure similar to Lightning or Taproot. So yeah, there's a lot of actual legal issues that come. There's always tax.
And it's complicated.
It's complicated, but it's fun. Yeah.
So what is your definition of Bitcoin in 20 seconds or less?
My definition of Bitcoin is digital money that is represented through a immutable hashing signature that is developed and operated in a decentralized and autonomous fashion.
What's the difference between Bitcoin and the 20,000 other cryptocurrencies that exist out there?
A lot of things. I think first and foremost, it is a truly decentralized coin because Satoshi Nakamoto left the devs to actually manage it. There's a very hard threshold to actually change things on the Bitcoin protocol. You have network effect on Bitcoin protocol where actually you have the most people trading and creating liquidity in it. And I think those are kind of all taken together, create the value of Bitcoin, which in the sense is that it is a truly decentralized and managed in a decentralized fashion. There is no owner of Bitcoin. There is no foundation of Bitcoin that actually is managing it in the background. It is a community-based thing, and it is a beautiful thing from a philosophical level because it shows that humanity can actually build projects and bring forth ideas without hierarchies.
So the people in the industry are usually quite knowledgeable, very passionate about Bitcoin. They believe it's the future. They believe it has all these benefits for our society. But the people who aren't involved usually will ask, why do we need this?
Yeah, so I think the easiest way to look at Bitcoin is I think Bitcoin makes saving sexy. At this moment, many people are living paycheck to paycheck. Many people do not understand how to save and understand the mechanisms in which they are saving. Therefore, a lot of young people are actually not taking care of themselves and taking care of their financial well-being by spending most of the time and not really putting their future financial well-being in place. I'll give you an example. I had a barber. The way he quit smoking is every day that he wanted to buy a cigarette, he would put $10 and buy Bitcoin, right? Nice thing about Bitcoin is accessible, it's fast, and you don't have to go through any complicated banking system, where you have to try to buy stocks or bonds or try to understand something from an intermediary. You can buy it, you can own it, you're completely in control of it. And what's nice about it is that the way it's built is that it should, on a long time scale, be accruing value on average year over year. So there isn't really any much complicated type of investment thesis or application or really time energy you need to take into. You can just download an app, buy some Bitcoin, save it, and that's kind of I would say the first use case for Bitcoin for people that don't know about it.
And so we're here in Montreal. What's Quebec's unique opportunity in Bitcoin or blockchain?
Great question. So I think one of the things that Quebec brings to the table is that we have a very strong knowledge economy. What that means is that we have the highest GDP per capita per student per GDP student per capita. Sorry, we have the highest student per capita in Canada, and second highest or equal to that in North America. I think first or second to Boston. We also have with this knowledge economy, you have a lot of people that are actually quite good at engineering and sciences. Quebec actually, by the time a Quebec student graduates from high school, they are 1 year ahead in math than Prince Edward Island, right? So you actually have a very strong math and science culture that exists in Quebec. This coupled together, as well as a low productivity rate within Quebec, allows us to be able to generate this knowledge economy in an entrepreneurial way and build very interesting things on the blockchain. That's thing number one. Thing number two, which we talked about a lot today, is natural resources. Quebec has an abundance of hydroelectric natural resources, which is green and is cheaply produced. I think that will allow us to be able to mine ethical, green, and environmentally conscious Bitcoin that will then be able to be used, in a global market in an ethical way, knowing that the Bitcoin is mined well in ethical standards and not in countries that don't have those standards and not being used, in ways that are violating, any international law.
Final question. You have the entire Quebec Parliament in front of you right now, but you only have 20 seconds to convince them. What do you say? Take your time to think about it if you want.
I would say that Quebec's at a crossroads. They can choose productivity, they can choose wealth, they can choose the well-being of their people, or they can choose a dogmatic position that will put them in the rung of society, because the only thing that we know that is constant in the last 300 years is that dematerialization and technological advancements are happening. So you can either fight it or be with it. And if you are with it, you will find the richness within it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Pleasure speaking with you.